I'm ready too. What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk, the world's most underrated podcast. I mean, today I couldn't be more thrilled to have the iconic Brian Urlacher joining us today. I mean, he's not just a football superstar. I mean, he's a living legend. You guys heard me right, whose impact on the game will be forever etched in history. I mean, from the early days as a college sensation, and I mean a college sensation at the University of New Mexico, to his remarkable, I'm going to just change that. I don't like that word, stupendous.
You like that word? Stupendous is your word today.
It
I like
is,
that.
it is my word today, Brian.
I like it.
Stupendous career with the Chicago Bears. I mean, this gentleman has left just just a remarkable mark on the gridiron. 8-time Pro Bowler, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and oh wait, first ballot Hall of Famer. But the impact extends far beyond the accolades. As Brian has given so much to the community, done so much off the field as well, done so much for his family. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best linebackers of all time, Mr. Brian Urlacher. What is up, sir? How you and the family doing today?
Doing great. I appreciate you having me on. Been looking forward to this all day. Played a little golf this morning. Wife is waiting for me to get done so I can clean out the back patio. That's how things are going for me these days.
Well, we'll try to stall.
Yeah. So keep me as long as you want. She's got that power wash out there staring at me right now. So take your time.
We'll take the time. And
Yeah.
what did you hit today? Anything good today on the golf course?
I played golf video thing with a buddy of mine for his website. So it was screw around day, which are fun for me because I golf. It's 108 here right now, so it's nice to kind of get it out of the way. We're only out there about an hour. I enjoy the heat, so it doesn't bother me. But next week it's supposed to be like 115, so we'll see what I'm saying then.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing the Wii golf if I were you, Brian. I'm not sure I'm going out on that.
I like the heat, man. I lose more weight when it's this hot, which I like because I don't have to work as hard.
And you sweat a little more too.
Yes,
it's cardio, and
I don't know about that, but it's good for me.
It is good for you, and I mean, it's almost like weirdly going in Chicago where it was windy to now where you are now and it's hot. It's almost like you just like that change of pace. Now, believe it or not, Underdog Talk, Brian was not a golfer or what made his mark. He was actually one of the best linebackers of all time, Brian. And I have to ask you the $1,000,000 question. Why decide to play football? What made you want to be a football player? And how was that journey kind of created?
So when I was a kid, I loved basketball. I loved basketball all the way up through high school, and I would have played probably chosen that over football if I had been better at it than football. But football, I got a scholarship offer out of high school, so it was an easy decision to play football. Sorry, because pay for my school. So that was the best decision. And I love football. Don't get me wrong, but basketball early on when we go play on the weekends, we have these logos at our hometown, like 8.5-foot rims. So we could all dunk. It was fun. But in high school, we were pretty good as well. But football, I love it, man. I mean, there's no other sport. There are others where you can get away with being violent and not get in trouble for it, right? I mean, you got hockey, you got rugby, but football, I mean, you got full speed collisions. That's not what drew me to it because I played mostly offense when I was a kid. But I just love the game, man. It taught me so much. It got me a ton of friends. I hung out with my buddies all day. Same way in the NFL, when you go to work every day, you're with 55 or 60 of your buddies hanging out. So you're 8-10 hours a day. You get to hang out with your friends. So I enjoyed that aspect of it as well.
And Brian, I'm 5'6", so dunking was never in.
Tall.
You might be. Well, wow.
You look taller. You look a lot taller when you're sitting down, though.
I'm getting a little teary. A Hall of Famer football player called me tall at 5'6". I'm going to say that and show that to my friends. But obviously, you were renowned for your tackling prowess and ability to read offensive plays. And we often see your crazy interceptions. I was watching your highlights before this. There was one where you just made this diving interception, and I'm like, as a linebacker. So can you take us through your approach to studying opponents and how were you able to anticipate and disrupt the game pace almost 24/7 in the game? I actually have to say one thing. The announcer was like, "What play was Brian Urlacher not involved in?" And the guy goes, "Oh, only 2 plays. 2 plays out of the whole game."
Oh, dang! I didn't. So our coaches have us so prepared to play, and I like to take credit for it, but I can't. We every Sunday we go into a game. There was no question what I was supposed to be doing every single play. And I'd like to say I'm super smart. I feel like I am a football player, but man, our coaches have us ready to play every Sunday. So I go out there, I just react. There was no thinking for me when it came to football. I just reacted to what I saw, flew to the football. So it's easy when you're thinking on the football field. That's not good. Or maybe basketball. I don't know. Other sports may be different. But in football, you don't want to be thinking. You want to be reacting and flying to the football, especially as a defensive guy. Because there were some games early on in my career when I was not sure what I was doing. And when the ball was snapped, I was like, what do I do? You don't want that hesitation when you're out there. You want to know what you're doing every play. And thankfully, we had good enough coaches that they put us in a position where we could do that. Just fly to the football, play fast. That was our thing. Play fast, run to the ball. And we watched a ton of film. Don't get me. We watched a lot of film. I'm not a film guy. I didn't like watching film. It was my least favorite thing to do because when you get to we had a key every play as linebackers, and my key took me to the football. So, say I watched 5 hours of film a day, so they get an I formation. I'm like, oh, they're going to run lead weak here. Well, then they run something else. I'm like, oh, damn. So I like to know because your key is going to take you to football every play, no matter what. In our defense, that was the way it was. So I don't want to be guessing on plays prior to. It's nice to have an idea. Don't get me wrong, but I was a guy that didn't like watching a ton of film. I like to play what I saw.
And play what you saw, you did. And, one other thing besides the prowess, I like that word too. We're full of vocab today. And
Yeah.
you were on the Chicago Bears for your whole career. And obviously the fans adore you. And Chicago holds a special place to you in your heart.
Yep.
How did it feel to play your entire career for one franchise? And what did the sense of loyalty mean to you? As that must have meant a lot to you, Brian.
Yeah, that was very satisfying for me. It's so hard in these day and age to stay with one team. You know how it is. Guys request trades. They're something salary cap. So it's a two-way street, by the way, because it's nice that I was there, but they had to keep me and want me there as well. They redid most of my contract early every time, so I never got to free agency till my last year, and I was old, so it was probably time to go anyway. But yeah, I love the fans of Chicago. I believe they are the best fans in professional sports, football wise. It's cold as piss at Soldier Field in those winter games, and they're there every time. A lot of times we weren't good, but they still showed up, man. They understand football. They cheer at the right times. They boo at the right times. They understand the football situation. So it was nice because I knew on third down when we had a team in third and long or third whatever it was, they were going to be loud as hell. And as a defensive guy, it's hard to communicate with my teammates because they're so loud. So we had a lot of times at home games we used hand signals so we could communicate because our crowd was so loud. But it was great. The fans were awesome. They loved defense, and luckily I played defense.
Luckily, you play defense, not basketball. Thank you. And I saw in a thing you were doing this, and in Madden they always do that, and I always wondered what that meant. But is that communication for your team, or? Ooh.
Yeah, so it's if you see, well, some of them are dummy signals too because teams would steal our signals. So there's a lot of times, most of them meant something, but if they're home games, they usually meant something because it was loud and we couldn't communicate verbally. Road games usually you didn't need them because you could talk because the crowd was. If they were a smart crowd, they were quiet on third down for their home team. But yeah, we use hand signals. It's hard sometimes hard to get the corner's attention when you're using the hand signals. So our corners was Charles was so good. Tim James, they always looked in. If something was changed, they were always looking in. And I can't imagine being in man coverage and being like, I wonder if he's and having the wherewithal to look in, but oh, he changed the coverage. It's cover 2 now. I'll be like, I got this guy, man. That's my job. I wouldn't be worried about what Brian was doing on the inside there, changing the defense. But our corners were smart. They always looked in to see if we're changing the defense. And our D line, they all got it. They understood because we practiced it, so they understood it.
I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy shop listening to you, Brian. And obviously, we talk about the physical demands in football, but as you know better than anyone, football can be mentally and emotionally taxing. How did you handle the pressure that comes with playing at the highest level? How did you keep yourself mentally, your head mentally straight and just being able to go to every game at your best?
So there wasn't a lot of pressure, honestly. I didn't put pressure on myself. I feel like it was a bonus. When you got to Sundays and got to play, it was a bonus. You got to play football on Sundays and you got paid. So the pressure for me wasn't really, it was the pressure I put on myself. Not that I felt outside pressure from media or teammates or coaches. It was the pressure I put on myself to play well, my expectations were really high for myself. So I really lived up to them. But I was more concerned with making mistakes, honestly. Like I judge my games on not how many plays I made, not how many tackles. I judge my play based on how many mistakes I made. Honestly, that's how I looked at my games and game film. Like I took a wrong step here, or maybe I missed again. Just little things like that I could critique myself to get better in. Because the big plays were, if you do your job in our defense, you're going to make a lot of big plays, and we have a lot of guys do that.
Agreed. And, I don't think there's pressure for the greats because, first of all, you love pressure. And if there's no pressure on you, then there's no pressure on you. And obviously, transitioning from the playing field to retirement can be, a challenging process.
For sure.
Many athletes, and we've had a few athletes go, well, it's almost like there's a few things, the Army and professional sports, we don't know what we're doing now. How did you navigate this transition, and what lessons do you learn along the way about yourself, Brian?
Well, you're so structured for your whole football life, through high school, college, and NFL. You have a purpose, right? Your purpose is to get better at football. Or mine was, I wanted to get better. Obviously, I have my family, my children. I want to be a great dad when I'm home. But when you're striving to get better every day at football, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever you're doing to try and get healthy for next season, you have a purpose to try and accomplish something. And when that ends, you're like, now what? It just, for me, it was very abruptly. So it was like, okay, I'm going to retire right now in May. And then it's just like, now what do you do? Because there's so much free time, prior to retiring every day, it's like, I got to get better. I got to get better. Your mindset is get better at football. And then that's taken away. So you're like, all right, now what? You shift other ways. It took a while for me to adjust, that your first year or two was not easy. I had to do a lot of adjusting. My wife was great. My kids were great and helped me do that. But once you get adjusted, it's unbelievable. The golfing, the fishing, the things that I riding my bicycle, I should say, not motorcycle. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but mountain biking, road biking, they've all kind of taken up my time, and it's been nice. I've really enjoyed myself the last probably 9-10 years since I think I've been retired for 11 now. So it's nice to finally, I've been in a groove like the last 9 years, which is nice.
And time does fly, and I never believed it. But geez, Brian, it flies. And off the field, you've been involved in so many charities and so many, events giving back, as I mentioned earlier. Could you share some of the causes that are close to your heart and the causes that you've been doing lately? Because I see on your Instagram all these amazing things that you've been doing and giving back.
Yeah, the Children's Miracle Network's a big one. That's a great foundation. I don't even know if we call it a foundation, but they do amazing things for kids. Parents don't pay for it. It's just amazing what they do. And they have a lot of events involved with golf, which I love golf, so it's fun. It's easy to be a part of that. When I played, and even now, I'm still involved with Special Olympics. I love doing stuff with Special Olympics. It's a blast for me. When I played, I would give them tickets to every home, like 25 or 30 tickets to every home game. The Bears set it up where we could do that every week, which was awesome. So they beat every game. They come to training camp, and I still do some events with them now. Gosh, I mean, I love doing golf. Anything that has to do with golf for charities, sign me up. If I'm available, I love doing stuff like that. So don't really do a lot of things, lend my name to a lot of things. I just like to show up and play other people's stuff because it's easier. They invite you to play in their charity event. I'm all about that. But yeah, Special Olympics, Children's Miracle Network, those are great causes right there.
And those are some Special Olympics alone is it's such an amazing thing, giving them a chance to play and have fun. I truly agree on that. And I do have to ask, what are your thoughts on the current state of the NFL, and also what are your thoughts on the Bears? Are you think they're going in the right way, or what are your thoughts on just football and the Bears? I'll have to ask that as well.
I love football. Number one, I'm a fan now. I love watching. And my son plays high school football. I love watching. Big college football guy too. I love watching college football, NFL. So we don't have whatever game we get on Sunday here is the game that we'll watch if we watch that day. So I'm not huge like I'm gonna sit down and watch this game that day. I'm not really into that I'm a Cowboys fan. I grew up in New Mexico, so I'm a big Cowboys fan, and we get a lot of Cowboys games here in Arizona. I saw your helmet right there. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Is that a Lions helmet too?
Yeah, so we had Brandon Cooks on the podcast who
nice.
New Cowboys second.
I know.
He's going to be a
second string. He runs like a 4.140. He won't be second string for long.
Well, we saw CD
Lamb, yeah, but they put Brandon and him on the field. They'll find them. Don't worry, they'll work it out. CD Lamb's a beast, by the way. Michael Gallup. Anyway, so I grew up a Cowboys fan, so I am still a Cowboys fan. Bears, obviously, as well. But I grew up a Cowboys fan, so we watch a lot of their games here in Arizona. We get a bunch because we're kind of in the area. But yeah, and the state of the game. I mean, the games are fun, right? Because there's a lot of points scored. You know, all the rules are geared to the offense. So that I don't like. You know, as a former defensive player, I get a little annoyed sometimes at the rules and the way they shift them towards the offense, and the way they protect those guys but not protect defensive players. You know, offensive lineman can cut your knees out, no big deal, but just don't hit our guy. Don't hit the offense in the head because that's really bad. But if we take your knee out and you break your knee, that'll grow back. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine, man. You'll be good. But don't hit those guys in the head. Anyway, I can get on that for a long time. And what was the second part of your question? The Bears. They had the number one pick last year after the season. That's not good, right? I know they traded it, but they were the worst team in the NFL last year record-wise. So we'll see. You know, I think I don't know who they drafted. I don't really pay close enough attention as maybe I should. Plus, we live in Arizona, so I don't get a lot of their coverage. But we'll see. You know, they signed Tremaine. They traded Roquan, which pissed me off.
Yeah.
But then they signed Tremaine, which made me happy. So, you know, and I think they got him for a little bit less money than they would have paid Roquan. But I do like what I like about, and what I think should happen is if you draft a guy and he performs, you should pay him. You know, yes. Roquan was a first-round draft pick. Bears drafted him. He performed. He made All-Pro, whatever Pro Bowls, which are nothing. The Pro Bowls to me don't mean that much. But you still, I mean, it's voted on by the fans and coaches and players. So it's not. I think the fans vote count for a third. So you get a lot of guys voting. It's the things that matter are all pro, in my opinion. But I was not happy to see him go, but I'm glad they signed Tremaine Edmonds. He's a great football player, and he kind of swapped those two out. And I think he fits better in the cover 2 scheme for what they're running now. He's 6'5", 245, and can run. That's a good fit. But we'll see. You know, I think they got some good weapons on offense in the offseason as well. So it'll be fun to see. Division is good, though. That division is good. Well, it got worse with Aaron leaving, so the Packers aren't going to be as good.
And speaking of a former Bear, David Montgomery will be coming on the podcast. He's now a Lion, so
did they got rid of him?
They did.
And the Lions signed him, even with Swift.
And Swift's on the Eagles now. They got the Bama guy, but
Gibbs.
Yeah, Gibbs is.
Oh, he's a badass.
He is nice.
He can run. I like him. Okay.
Yeah, so you guys.
And they got the kid from Jamal Williams.
No, Jamal Williams is not on the Lions anymore. He's on the.
Oh, sorry. I just haven't been paying attention to all the offseason stuff.
Well, I figured you weren't paying attention to who the Bears drafted this year because it was an offensive lineman, not a defensive guy. So.
Oh, good. They need offensive lineman. That's great. Hopefully, he's a good player.
Seems good. He seems pretty good. He went to.
Everyone's good right now. Everyone's a Super Bowl contender right now too.
That is true. That is.
32 of them right now.
And you know what? We'll say screw your 8 Pro Bowls. Screw it. We'll mention the one big one that does count, and that is the Hall of Fame. And Brian, I do have to ask.
Take that one.
You should. Yep. What were your emotions on making it into the most prestigious group of men in all of sports and becoming a Hall of Famer, Golden Jacket? What was that like?
A lot of mixed emotion. I mean, because the process is so, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you can think, but it's just, you don't know who's going to vote you, who you didn't talk to in the media that may not like you, so they may not vote for you. And that's happened to some guys. Terrell Owens went on his 3rd ballot in our class. Terrell Owens was the 1st ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion, but he didn't go until his 3rd year because some people didn't vote for him because they don't like him. So you don't know. And I wasn't always very kosher with the media. So you just don't know how that's going to work out. But luckily, I was able to get on the 1st ballot. It's just such a relief and excitement once you get that knock on your door, the call, whatever they do now. It's amazing. It's just like you're at the mecca. You're at the top of the mountain. There's nowhere else. You can't go any higher. You've everything you worked for and strive to do when you played is not come to fruition.
And congratulations on becoming one of the best of all time and just joining such an elite group. I just have to say, so many people look up to you.
Our class was unbelievable. Our Hall of Fame class, myself, Ray Lewis, Terrell Owens, Brian Dawkins. Oh my gosh, I'm leaving a really good one out. I know. Oh my goodness, who was our 5th guy? Jerry Kramer. I'm leaving one really good player. I'm a jerk. Remember?
Well,
remember 5th guy. We had a great class, though.
You had a great. I mean, you and Ray.
Ray. Brian Dawkins. Bro, who's our fifth? I can't think of it.
I was going to honestly look it up, but shout out to that fifth guy, and I do think that class is just elite. I mean, you Dawkins and Ray.
Robert was older. It's the current guys. Sorry, my wife's helping me.
No.
So you got me, Ray, Terrell, Dawkins. There's a Randy Moss. Duh. Me, Ray, Randy, Terrell, Brian. That's fine.
Fine.
I think I might have said Randy in there, but forgot.
You did. We'll just say you did. Just
Randy Moss, obviously one of the best of all time.
Yes.
Not even close.
Yeah, not even close. One of the best wide receivers. Now, finally, Brian, first of all, thank you so much for taking your time. Such a class act. And I appreciate so many young people look up to you, and so many people, going into the game, idolize you. So what advice would you give to aspiring young football players who dream of following in your steps and making it to the NFL one day like you once were?
Yeah, dream big. I think it's attainable. I'm proof it's attainable. I came from a small town. My aspirations were not to go to the NFL. I wanted to get my college paid for. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to get out of my hometown and go to college. And I was lucky enough to do that. Then when I got to college, I just flourished. I got bigger, I got stronger, I got faster. Number one, I stayed healthy. I think that's the hardest thing. And so many things have to go right for you to make it to that level. So I think it's 1% of college players go to the NFL. So it's a small percentage of kids that actually get a chance to play in the NFL. So, dream big and bust your butt to get there. You never know. And if you can play, the NFL will find you. It doesn't matter where you go to school. Doesn't matter what your level of competition is. If you can play and they think you can play, they will find you. So, give it all you got. Go out there. Bust your butt, but it's just so hard because so many things have to go right. You got number one, you got to stay healthy. You get hurt at an inopportune time and it could injure chances, but don't put all your eggs in one basket either. How about that? I'm going to the NFL. That's what I'm going to do. I hope you do, but you need to have a backup plan as well, just in case you don't make it.
I think backup plans are crucial, and I will say, if you don't get drafted, do not fret. Some of the best of all time, including Tony Romo, were undrafted, and Aaron Rodgers.
You think Tony Romo is one of the best of all time?
I'm a big Dallas Cowboys. Well, so are you, Brian. Come on now. I think Tony Romo is a superstar. I think he's elite. I also grew up loving him, so maybe I'm a little biased to that. But
okay,
I just like he was undrafted. Underdog. Come on.
No, he's definitely undrafted. There you go. Undrafted. We'll say that.
We'll say.
And he made it in the NFL, and he was undrafted. He did well.
And he started for the Dallas Cowboys for a few years. So, Brian, again, thank you so much. But before we go, the floor is yours. Anything you want to plug? Are you working on anything new? Any books?
I'm working on my golf swing. Does that count?
That does.
No books, nothing like that for me. Working on the golf swing every day, trying to get better at that.
No books.
No books. You said nah. I did the kids' book a few years ago, but nothing in the works for me.
Oh man, I would love to get a fictional book on Brian Urlacher's career. I would pay for that, and I don't read, but
you and me both. I can read. I just choose not to most of the time.
I don't think I can read, and I want to. Well, no, it's another story. But and guys, don't forget to follow Brian on Instagram. And you guys see it right there. I normally just plug the Instagram, but it is B Urlacher.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
it's cool.
That is my Instagram. You're right. Good job. Yeah, I like Instagram. I have fun on there. It's my wife just taught me how to use it a few years ago. It's a blast. I can go on there and look at. Follow people, stay up with friends, post stupid stuff. It's fun. I have a good time with it.
And I also did. I will say this: congratulations to your children for graduating. I saw that on your Instagram.
We got my oldest graduated college. Now she's going to law school in the fall. My middle daughter graduated high school. I think she's going to go to KU in the fall. And my son will be a senior next year, and then he'll go on to Notre Dame the year after. So yeah, getting them out of the house.
Wait, they're not going to New Mexico?
The University of New Mexico? No, they didn't want to go there. My oldest daughter went to KU. Looks like my middle daughter wants to go there as well. And they just, they like to do their own thing. I applaud them for that. Do their own thing, make their own path, get out of there, do your own thing. I like it. Well, they love the Midwest for some reason. They love the weather.
Huh. I'm from the East, so I don't know what that's like, but
I like the West Coast. Give me the warm weather. Arizona. put me in the warm weather year round.
Hey, golf and cardio and sweating and all that stuff.
Warm outside things. Yes, sign me up.
One more time, one of the best football players of all time, a class act. And again, Brian, thank you so much for taking your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Teddy. Appreciate you, man.
Guys, do not forget to follow Brian on Instagram. He is active there, very active. But next time, Underdog.